Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever been in an argument with someone about something you both saw, only to realize you remember it in two totally different ways? Well, that's exactly what we're getting into today, how our own unique viewpoints can literally create different realities from the very same event.
So let's just start with the big question right up front. Is it actually possible for two people to see the exact same thing happen and walk away with completely different stories? The answer, as we're about to see, is a huge, resounding yes.
To really see this in action, we're going to jump into a famous story about feeding 5,000 people, but we're going to look at it from two wildly different points of view. One is all about fear, and the other, pure awe. Okay, first up, let's put ourselves in the shoes of the disciples. For them, this whole thing is a logistical nightmare. They see the massive crowd, they do the math, and all they can see is a problem: scarcity, stress. They're just stunned by how impossible the situation looks.
But now, let's flip the script. Let's look at this from the perspective of the boy who had the food. For him, there's zero anxiety, there's no stress about the numbers, there's just simple generosity, and then total wonder. He's not focused on the problem, he's focused on the man with kind eyes and the incredible thing he gets to witness. He saw a miracle.
And when you put them side by side like this, the gap is just immense, isn't it? On one hand, you've got overwhelming anxiety. On the other, generosity and awe. It is the exact same event, but emotionally, they might as well be on different planets. It all just comes down to the lens they were looking through.
Okay, so it's not just about what we see. It's also about how the story gets told. This brings us to our next section, where we're going to see just how powerful the narrator is in shaping what we believe.
Take a look at this pretty common disagreement. When you read Lexi's story, who do you side with? Her, right? Jonah seems kind of cold, insensitive, but then you read his side, and suddenly he's not a villain. He's just confused. That's the narrator's power. They control where our sympathy goes.
So what's the trick here? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. It's called narrative voice. Lexi's story uses the first person, I. That puts us right inside her head, feeling her emotions. Jonah's story, on the other hand, uses the third person, he, which gives us a little more distance, a look from the outside in. So when we hear Lexi's I, we are completely on her team. We feel her fear, we feel what it's like to be invisible. And from that spot, Jonah just looks like a jerk. We automatically think his behavior is because of his character, that he is an insensitive person.
But watch what happens with just one little shift in who's telling the story. The second we see the world from Jonah's point of view, we get it. He isn't being mean, there's no malice here, he's just genuinely confused. All of a sudden, this isn't a story about a bad guy and a victim, it's just a story about a big misunderstanding.
So, what's the big takeaway here? Why does all of this matter so much? Well, because understanding different perspectives, that's the absolute foundation of empathy. It's how we break out of our own little story and start to see the bigger picture.
And this isn't some new idea. This piece of ancient wisdom from the book of Philippians says it perfectly. It's a call to consciously look outside of our own bubble, beyond our own feelings and our own story, and to actually make an effort to see things from other people's point of view.
And we can actually put this into practice. Here are 3 really simple but powerful steps. Number 1, when someone's talking, listen to understand them, not just to cook up your reply. 2, actively ask yourself, I wonder what this is like from their side. And 3, and this one is huge, acknowledge that their reality, their feelings are just as real and valid to them as yours are to you.
All right, for our last section, let's zoom all the way out, because this stuff isn't just about small disagreements. This whole idea of perspective has shaped history, huge conflicts, and entire belief systems.
Just think about one of the most famous figures in all of history. People who lived at the same time, saw the same things, heard the same words, they came to completely different conclusions about him. Was he a teacher, a troublemaker, the son of God? It just goes to show you, on any scale, perspective really is everything.
And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? The lens you choose to see the world through doesn't just color your reality, it basically builds it. What you see becomes what you believe.
So we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. If our perspective is really that powerful, what parts of your own story, your own arguments, your own strongest beliefs, what might change or soften or maybe even transform completely if you just tried for 1 second to see it all through someone else's eyes?